Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 56-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, well, I had a man named Lyle who was about 28 years old at the time, and this was 1995, and he was naked in my workroom. He had come over from an ad that I had run in the Gambit magazine in New Orleans. Now, Lyle was a beautiful country boy, gorgeous. This guy was tall, at least about 6'2", and he had beautiful green eyes and sandy blonde hair. And although blondes aren't normally my type, but yeah, in this case, honey, he was beautiful. He was undeniably beautiful in anyone's eyes. And so Lyle gets undressed in my workroom, and I am pleasantly surprised by what I see. And Lyle looks at me and he says, "So Celeste, he was from Georgia. He said, Celeste, would you teach me how to dominate you?" Now, y'all, I had been requested to dominate others for years at that point. By 1995, since I was 14, I had dominated people, right? For money. And so in my personal life now, sharing a little here, but in my personal life, I've been known to dabble in a little DNS, a little domination submission, where I am typically the submissive in those situations in my personal life. Now, I'm a very, very, very controlling person in most aspects of my life. So, yeah, when I relinquish control that way, it's like a whole thing. Anyway, I had never been asked to let someone dominate me for money. And Lyle was gorgeous. Gorgeous. I cannot stress that enough. So I let him. Now, he wanted to tie me up. That was not happening. Listen, I'm a child of abuse and I have been sexually assaulted too many times in my life. That was not happening. No tying me up, honey. I'm not going to be that helpless. So, anyway, Lyle and I had a good old time. I taught him some things. I taught him some things that I knew from my dominating days, from my domination ways, I should say. And yeah, we had a really good time. And Lyle became a somewhat of a regular of mine after that. Like, seriously, he came over a couple of times a month after that for about a year or two. I saw him. And we had a lot of fun. We definitely had a lot of fun. So, now, as I mentioned before, I had a friend named Felina. Felina and I were running these ads together at the time. She would come over to my house, we would get ready for the day together, and then we would take turns. The guys would call, they would come over, and we would let them choose between us. We'd let them choose, you know. And yeah, that's how we made our money at the time. Now, another guy calls one day, and Felina wasn't there. She couldn't come over that day. She wasn't feeling good. And this guy called, and I normally never saw anybody when I was alone in the house. But Mickey was gone. Felina wasn't there. I was there by myself. And this guy comes over, and he shows up at my house, and he's a little bitty guy, about 5'4", maybe 5'5", 5'4", 5'5". Little dark-haired guy, and he's got glasses on, and we start talking. Come to find out, he wanted me to dominate him. He was one of the submissives that I talk about that used to come see me. And his request was very strange. His request was, he asked me if I would have a problem with, practicing bondage on him. And I told him no, I didn't have a problem tying him up or. And he said, well, I have some gear I'd like to bring over. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just leave the gear with you for whenever I want to come see you. I'd like to make this a thing, a regular thing. So I'm thinking, okay, not the first time I've had men bring over supplies, toys, you name it. That's how my whole toy collection existed at that time, was from donations. But when he came over, his name was, I think it was Nick. I want to say his name was Nick. And he was a former New Orleans police officer. Yeah, a former New Orleans cop. Now, when Nick came over with this equipment, honey, it was a mental institution issue straitjacket, mental institution issue leg restraints and wrist restraints, and the big wide belt to go over the waist for the middle, and big adult size cloth baby diapers with big oversized baby pens and baby bottles. Yeah, the whole thing, y'all. The whole thing. And I was just like, okay, listen, those guys pay well. They pay well, right? I had to tie him up and put him in a straitjacket, and he would bring me Valiums. And I would do the Valiums and sit in the living room. He wanted me to put him in the dark by himself with a baby bottle and just check on him once in a while and treat him like I was his mommy, checking on baby. He didn't dirty the diapers or nothing, but he wanted to wear them. Um, and yeah, so Nick left one day, and I get a phone call. And I pick up the phone and I ask what they want. They asked me if they could bring over their pet water moccasin because they trained it to deep throat them after they had it defanged. Yeah. And if y'all want to know what happens next, honey, y'all know the routine. Be here next time, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I will talk to you later. Bye, y'all.